Hello, friends. Good morning, and welcome to today's Daily Dharma, where we're going to continue to explore this idea. Well, hopefully more than an idea, hopefully an experience for you um, of mindfulness infused with loving kindness. For today, I'd like to talk about mindfulness not infused with loving kindness, right? Because, whatever we're kind of exploring in our practice. So if it's patience, we explore what patience is like, but part of that includes and needs to include exploring what impatience is like, right? And then, you plug whatever in and we need to explore its opposite because that's just part of exploring it. And so, mindfulness, let's say not so infused with loving kindness. And I just want to get real broad with this because I think everyone is kind of in this boat, and you'll see what I mean in a minute. When I would say most every person, I would say it's a pretty rare person who doesn't start on this path with the idea of getting better, right? It's just really natural. I want these parts of me to go away. I want to change. I want to get better. Just very natural and not wrong or bad. Just not exactly the most optimal approach. And again, basically, we all start that way. And then at some point, hopefully, sooner rather than later, but at some point, we realize that, oh, this is actually not about getting better, right? It's actually not about a self that's getting better. It's really, if we're talking about a self, it's really more about understanding the self. What is that made up of? What is it? What isn't it? Etc. Because while we're in this paradigm of getting better in our practice, this is why I'm practicing. Can you feel the slight harshness in that? Like we're not okay who we are, right? And not so much loving kindness in that, is there, towards self? And this is not to say that there might be behaviors we have or whatever tendencies or habits that really good to change them. But this just general approach of like our practice is about me getting better. There's not a lot of loving kindness in that. Whereas when that can shift from getting better, our practice is about getting better, to really our practice is about being more intimate with everything. Someone asked Zen Master Dogen, what is enlightenment? And he had all sorts of pithy, great answers at different times. But one of them was, it's being intimate with all things. So when our practice starts to shift towards that, it's really about being close to our experience, our own experience of life around us in a way that becomes so intimate that we start to really deeply understand it. And so then that, practice is about intimacy. You can feel there's a lot more caring and kindness, softness in that approach, isn't there? As opposed to, must get better, right? A little bit of a whip out with that. So just on a really broad level, this shift of practicing to get better to practicing to become more intimate with things, including our bodies, our thoughts and emotions, is a shift that brings more loving kindness into our overall practice, basically into our mindfulness practice. Okay, so let's do some of that mindfulness practice now. And settle into the posture, settle into the body. This first foundation of mindfulness. the body, this refuge for the attention. And when the attention is connected with the body somatically, by definition, what it's not doing is being pushed and pulled, slapped around, dragged through the mud by the mind-made world, by thoughts and stories. So really, body as refuge. Settling consciously, not demanding, just inviting the body soften and settle, and being present, being mindful for this somatic experience of the body settling. As we stay connected to the body, as it softens and relaxes, there can be this sense of the energy sinking downwards, settling literally like silt in a glass of muddy water, settling downwards to the bottom. And as we continue to pay attention to that, then our attention can kind of naturally go down and come into contact with the body where it's touching what's below it. Bottoms of the feet if you're standing, sit bones, legs touching what's underneath you if you're sitting, the whole back of your body pretty much if you're lying down. And we be mindful of sensations at these contact points. Perhaps we feel the density, the heaviness of the body pressing down. Feel pressure, hardness or softness. Perhaps a sense of heaviness. Sometimes there can be a sense of lightness as well. Just noticing. And there may be other touch points where we can notice sensations, other places where the body is in contact with itself. Hands or the legs may be touching. And again, we just bring our attention there, not demand that the sensations be anything different than they are. It's not so much what we're feeling, but that we're feeling. We establish this somatic connection to the body. And you might try widening your attention to include parts of the body that aren't in contact with anything. And just see, are there any sensations to be felt in these areas? Maybe some places yes, maybe some places no. That's fine. Again, it's the noticing that's important. As we pay attention more to the body as a whole in this way, then the sensations of the breath might start to be known. Just this rhythmic pattern of sensations in the body that we would give the concept breath to, but it's just body sensations. And part of the kindness in the mindfulness is not demanding that things be different than they are. We intend for the body to calm and settle, for sure. And yet, whatever it is that we notice, that we feel, that, can we be okay with that? Can we accept that and not demand that it be different? This is one way of infusing a sense of loving kindness into our mindfulness. When we accept something just as it is, with a lack of wanting or needing it to be different, I believe that that is, a nascent form of loving kindness. Like a person, when you love them, in that moment, you do not need them or want them to be different than they are. And this includes everything that arises in this body and mind, even challenging or difficult things, unwholesome mind states. It's about understanding them, not forcing them to go away. If they are unwholesome, and if they are indeed causing us unhappiness, when we see that clearly enough, then the letting go of them naturally happens through the clear seeing. Suzuki Roshi said, true renunciation is not giving up the things of the world, but in knowing that they go away through clear seeing. We practice what Ajahn Sumedho often said, it's like this now. You can hear the acceptance in that and the kindness that is inherent in that acceptance. Nice little meditation. Thank you for joining. When we get into this arena of acceptance, accepting things as they are, what all often, if not always, comes up is, yeah, but what about, you can't just accept, racism. You can't just accept cruelty, etc. You can't just accept war, right? So it's important to understand is when we're talking about acceptance in Dharma, it's about accepting this moment, just basically acknowledging. I think some that works better for some people when to replace the word accept with acknowledge. Like, oh right, it's just acknowledging what's actually so. Yes, this thing did happen, right? Whatever that is, that let's say isn't such a great thing. So there's a yes to it. And it's important because if there's an immediate knee-jerk no, it's like, oh no, that shouldn't happen, then that's reactivity. And then when a person or a group of people then address that situation based on reactivity or with reactivity, probably not going to go as well as it could. But the yes is like, it creates space. In that space, there's choice about how to respond as opposed to how to react, as opposed to reactivity. And so then from that place of yes, knowing that, oh, it would really be good if this changed or if we addressed it, right? But yes is space. In that space, there's choice. And then we can respond. And chances are, whatever actions an individual or group of people take to try to rectify something that's unwholesome, it's going to go better. Yeah, so just to be clear, that acceptance is really about just acknowledging this moment that it is as it is. Okay, friends, that's it for today. Tomorrow we'll be back again and continue to explore mindfulness infused with loving kindness. Okay, I wish you well till then. Bye-bye.